USC big test up in Eugene, somewhere they haven't won since 2011. USC is going duck hunting. We want to hear from you guys. Call in, ask your questions, all of that, plus some huge takes from Jamal. Can't wait for that coming up next. Welcome back, you guys. Welcome back to another Conquest Call-In show where you guys are basically the stars. We want to hear from you. SC is going up to Eugene. It's going to be a big test. We want to know your thoughts on the game. Ducks are getting healthy at the wide receiver. We're getting injured in the secondary, shaping up to be a hell of a game. I'll be here with Jamal for next half hour, 45 minutes, hour. You guys decide. We'll wait for your phone calls. We'll take all phone calls, right, Jamal?
You know it.
Try to keep it to the Duck game because we do want to hear about the Ducks. We also will be talking a little bit about, USC in the rankings. The college football playoff rankings came out. We'll just discuss that and some really interesting, if USC does win this game, some interesting matchups that we're going to have, especially if you have, a game played at home in Norman. Jamal, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well, Tim. Great to see you as always. And man, oh man, is this the week? This is the game of the year, the week of the year. So excited to always be doing this with you, my friend, and particularly this week as we have our sights set on everything. How great is it that USC is playing meaningful football for the playoff, middle of November, first time in 3 years, and hopefully it becomes a habit from here on out. But really excited to do this with you as always.
I'm locked in now because my Braves lost in the playoffs to Orange Lutheran, so now I'm just laser focused on this football season for USC, and yeah, I can't wait. I mean, Jamal, this is a game. USC. It just seems like we're always playing up in Eugene, but for some reason, USC and Oregon they don't match up as often as you would think. Over the past 10 years, it's kind of been hit or miss. But when they do get together, there's one thing I'll tell you. The ball's flying and offense is moving, and sometimes defense is optional. I think USC is going to have to change that narrative going up to Eugene. USC has had some issues this year playing on the road. It looks like it's going to be clean. It looks like no rain as far as the weather, probably cold, but no rain, and the wind looked like 1 to 2 miles an hour at midday. So looks like a game where USC is going to be flinging the ball, and it looks like USC is going to be trying to stop the rushing game of the Ducks.
No question about it, Tim. It's for the two preeminent programs, in the West Coast, certainly the last 15 years, this should be a game that's played annually, to your point. And yet, the way the scheduling has laid out, first, obviously, with the Pac-12, the two divisions, North and South, there's no guarantee that those two divisions played each other. And now in this monstrous Big Ten where, you don't play a third of the conference, essentially, every year, it's hard to sort of get this matchup. But this is the one that you want. This is the play-in for the playoff. And how better than USC and Oregon for those purposes. And, I'm reminded, Tim, of all the fun banter you and I had in the offseason about rivalries, if you remember. And one of the things that we talked about is, to really sort of solidify a rivalry, you have to take something from the other guy. And This is an opportunity now. The winner of this game is going to take something from the other guy. And it's going to sting. A lot of glory for the winner and a lot of stinging for the loser. And this is sort of set up so beautifully for these two to kind of go at it in years to come in the Big Ten. And I think that's what's so exciting about it.
Well, for as long as USC is in the Big Ten, but that's for another time. I will. I agree with you. As much as I mess with the Ducks, they've really over the past 15, 20 years pushing now, they've really changed their brand, and they've thanks to Phil Knight, have put an interesting product on the field. You hear about some of these rivalries. I mean, some of these schools in the Big Ten have like 4 or 5, 4 rivalry games locked up. Why on earth the West Coast teams aren't playing each other every year and then playing 6 Big Ten teams? I've got no idea. Why is it? Why don't you have Washington and Oregon? I mean, they're far more rivals. I know I've been trying to. I really do like the history with Ohio State and with Michigan, but they have multiple rivals already. Especially I would like to see Michigan though as a future rival. I mean, think about that. What if you had those? Then you'd have too many. Then you'd have 4. But I think some of the schools have 4, right? At least one.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean,
schools have
I
4.
definitely think that the West Coast, it would fix some of the travel situation, right off the bat. Could spend the whole month of November at home. What do you think on the West Coast? But yeah, I highly doubt that. The way the Big Ten loves us, I really highly doubt they're going to allow us to do that kind of scheduling situation. But you guys, phone numbers up here, 888-997-4539, 888-99 Riley. Give us a call. I'm also dropping the StreamYard link for those of you guys that are on your phones. I know you guys say it's difficult to listen to the show while you're waiting on hold, so I'm going to do that as well.
And Tim, I think from my perspective, and I think you feel similarly, but would love to get your thoughts. This is an unquestioned elimination game because I don't see a path for either team that loses this game to be able to make the playoff. And I think that that's what's so interesting here. The narrative, for better or for worse, is a 5-3-1-1-1-1, in the playoff, which essentially is 5 from the SEC, 3 from the Big Ten, 1 from the Big 12 and the ACC, 1, unfortunately, Notre Dame, and then 1 group of 5. And I think when you look at the loser of this game, potentially on either side of the coin, for SC, it would be a third loss. I think would be too tough to overcome there at 9-3. But if you look at it from the other side, even with Oregon, they're sitting there at 10-2. But the loss to Indiana, the loss to SC, and not really having another signature win on the board there, I think it's going to be very difficult for Oregon to be that 4th team to come into the Big Ten and usurp some of those SEC teams that are sitting at 4, 5, and 6 right now, for better or for worse, just because they will not have had that win, a signature win. You could argue, their best win is going to be, at Iowa. And I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough from a resume standpoint to be able to get in. So this is truly win. The winner is in for sure. And all they got to do is take care of business the following week, respectively, and they're in, no question about it. And I think the loser, no question about it, is out. So this is the play in for the playoff, no question about it in my mind.
Yeah, and they have shown. They've had some clunkers, but those clunkers have been the road. I mean, obviously going to a whiteout, that was having a close game against Penn State. That's a tough place to play. Flip side of that is now you got USC rolling into Autzen, an already tough place to play. This team has shown that it's not the best travel team. Let's face it. It's just not. But USC's gone through. Now they've played though. They've played at Notre Dame Stadium. So I mean, they played at Nebraska. So they've built their road chops up a bit. Let's see what they can build off of that and carry it on into this game. I'm gonna say it. I said it on our show, on the video. On Monday. If SC doesn't play 4 quarters, forget it, you guys. If you think USC's to go up there and just like they've done in so many road games and against Iowa at home in the last game, and just kind of take the first half off, USC is going to find itself in a hole. And I don't know if you remember it, Jamal, but I remember when Chip Kelly, or was it? I think it was Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly and Kiffin went head to head, and they were just taking blow for blow. But the thing is SC stumbled a couple of times. Yeah, the Ducks got up to like a 10-point lead, and really both teams kept scoring from there. But USC never got that lead back. I see that happening up in Eugene. If you talking
about that game in the Collie, Tim, I think it was 12. If I'm not, in the Collie, I think it was 62-51 final. That was
defense optional.
With Barkley at quarterback. Absolutely. I mean, it was kind of like a team kicked a field goal and a punt, and the game was over. It was just a track meet there. 113 points. So no, I agree with you here, Tim, because Oregon's very downhill, right? And I think the key here with Oregon is obviously top 3 defense in the country from a total defense as well as from a yards per play perspective. This is a very stout defense. Think of Iowa, but with some better athletes on the outside. So this is going to be a huge challenge on the road. And then on the flip side, this is a team that in Oregon has struggled with the vertical passing game. I think a big disappointment this year has been their vertical pass game. I think folks really expected a more explosive offense over the course of the season, particularly how they started in some of these games. I think everyone recalls that Oklahoma State game where they won 69-3, and everyone was like, oh my God, look what they did to Oklahoma State. And in reality, Oklahoma State way, way down, and Oregon kind of suffering those injuries to Moore, to Bryant Jr., and have really lost some verticality. DeCorian Moore, his availability on Saturday is going to be a huge X factor here if things open up from a vertical pass game perspective. But, Tim, they've got that three-headed running back monster, and all three backs are 7 yards per carry or above on 45-plus carries. So you got Whittingham, the senior, and then, you got Davison and Hill Jr., the pair of freshmen. Davison is kind of that big bruiser at 6 feet, 236 pounds. And then Hill Jr. is sort of more of your speed guy and your scat back. And then you throw in Whittingham, who's so he's so twitchy. This is really sort of a power team to be able to run the ball. They play great defense. They also got a great tight end in Sadiq. So this is going to be, to your point, you got to bring it for 4 quarters and 60 minutes here, because if you take a quarter off, you take a quarter and a half off, this thing can get to 3 possessions, and then, it's going to be really tough on the road. So SC's got to play clean. They got to play really intense to start this game. But on the flip side, no one can guard Lemon and Lane in the country. No one has an answer. So when you got those 2 horses, you always have an opportunity. And as long as Mayava continues to just sort of give those guys a chance from a catch radius perspective and protects the ball and isn't too sort of predictable in terms of his reads, there's an opportunity to hang in this game and potentially steal it in the 4th quarter. So it's going to be dynamite. I mean, I think if you get both teams a game, this could very well be one of the 5 games of the year in college football. No question about it in my mind.
It's going to be huge, and it's huge it's going to shape the Big Ten. I mean, obviously, whoever wins this one has the pole position for 3rd place in the Big Ten.
Totally.
So yeah, massive game. Shout out to Peyton all the way from Nebraska. Fight on, Peyton.
Oh yeah,
for joining in. Thank you, all the guys. I mean, people I see how like Trojan Fight and Johnny and all these guys. We see them all the time in here. Appreciate the support we're getting. Thank you guys all for being here. Hey, listen, really quick, if you could just do this to help this thing take off right now. We're gonna be here for an hour. If you do us a favor, hit that like button. Really appreciate it. Again, it really helps the show out. We have our first 2 callers. Are you ready?
Let's do it, Tim.
All right. Okay, so you guys, the phone lines are working. I see Mitch from New Jersey. He's in StreamYard, but just Mitch, the phones are fixed. So if you want to check that out, it's fine as well. But you can hang out there too as well. First call. I know this number, but I'm gonna let you announce yourself. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up, guys? It's Christian from Mission Viejo.
Christian, how you been, man? How you liking this win streak we're on?
Yeah, it's been nice. Definitely been nice.
All right.
Hopefully we can carry it on and finish the season off strong. Beat those guys down and get a playoff appearance. That's the dream.
It is a dream. Now I know you got questions, but do you have a couple comments or maybe some predictions?
I mean, last thing I was going to say was score prediction, but I don't really have too many questions. I would just to see your main keys to the game, because I mean, I feel like it can be pretty basic, but there's so Oregon has a really good, really potent run game. They're pretty good on defense. We have some question marks in the defensive backfield with Bishop getting injured last week. I'm just curious to see we must do this in order to win the game.
Yeah, well, I think you hit on it, and I think Jamal. I think we're all be on the same key. We got to stop the run.
Yeah.
If they run on us, I mean, shoot, if they could just control the ground game and pound us and keep our offense off the field, that's probably the way. Because I agree with Jamal, and I'm sure you agree with Jamal. Nobody's to stop Lemon. The only person that can stop Lemon's Lemon, and Lemon's not going to stop himself in this game. He's ready to go. We got dry conditions. We got no wind. We got Jaden going to carve it up. Now we're going back to the mix and match offensive line. So if you want to give me a second predictor, we need to do. So we need to stop the run on defense. We need to protect Jaden. We need to protect Jaden, especially on that left side. You know, I've rewatched the game fully through now, and I was not always happy once Elijah Page went out of that game. The left side, there were some misses on the left side in pass pro. In run blocking, I liked it. But I mean, I'm not a big PFF guy, but a couple of guys got hammered in PFF as well. Stepping in, moving to a different position, Jamal. But so I'm gonna say really quickly, stop the run on defense. I think it's easier said than done, but you're gonna have to do it. And then on offense, got to protect Jaden.
Yeah. No, Tim, I think that's spot on. There isn't too much to add there. I mean, I'll just sort of double down on the stopping the run. I mean, this is the ultimate test now for this front and this defensive line, because you've got really good Oregon offensive line, and you got 3 elite running backs back there. And so this is going to be a game where I think if SC can hold Oregon under 200 yards rushing, you got to really like the chances of the Trojans stealing this one on the road. To me, that's kind of that 200 number, because, Dante Moore is someone that, I followed for a number of years, and he is someone that is very much a rhythm quarterback. And when things are flowing well, he's going to have a really good game. And he tends to not dip when things are going well. But on the flip side, it's hard for him to elevate when things are not going well. And so for Dante Moore, it's one of those situations where that first quarter and a half, depending on how he plays there, that's going to be the Dante Moore that you're going to get for all 4 quarters. It's very rare for him to dip, and then it's very rare for him to elevate. And that's kind of been the case the last 3 years with him, and 2 years of playing. And so to me, it's that running game, because if they're consistently able to run the ball the way Notre Dame was able to, the way Illinois was able to, now Dante Moore can go play action. He can hit his tight end Sadiq. He can take some deep shots. He's going to be very comfortable and in rhythm. But if you can make him uncomfortable in terms of second and long, third and long situations consistently, that's when he starts getting into his head. And sometimes he overreads progressions. We talk about Mayava sometimes where it's a one-read throw. Moore is kind of the other guy. He gets into his head a little bit too much. He'll sometimes go read 3, read 4 when the first guy was open, and that's sort of a function of when he's not comfortable over the course of a game. So to me, that's going to be absolutely critical. And what that does is, if you're able to stop the run and get off the field in a reasonable amount of time, you're going to keep that defense fresh, because you're not necessarily going to sort of lose the game on one 12, 14 play drive. Where things sort of the dominoes take place is you give up a long drive. And then to Tim's point, if the offensive line doesn't hold up on the other end, you get a 3 and out, and then you give up another long drive. And then that's when, the defense is gassed, you're down 2 possessions, or you've given up back-to-back touchdowns, and that's how things snowball. Then Mayava's going to start pressing. He's not going to look for that seam, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, things happen in that way. On the flip side, if you can control their running game and things sort of go back and forth from a time of possession perspective, now you're going to build confidence on the road if you're Mayava, and you got those 2 weapons on the outside that are absolute monsters. So absolutely, that run defense is critical. Tim talked about the offensive line, but this is a big game for the secondary too, because I think the one thing that wasn't sort of talked about a lot with Iowa is, those guys, they were open, and Gronowski kind of just missed some throws in the second half of that game. There were some out routes. The guys were open, and he's throwing it at their feet and whatnot. So it was a tremendous defensive effort in the second half, but those windows are going to have to be tighter, because Moore is going to be able to make those throws in his sleep if you give that cushion. So this is a big game for the D-line, and this is a big game for the secondary. It's those 2. Obviously, the O-line, as Tim talked about, I'm looking at those 2 units in particular, both on the defensive side of the ball. They are going to have to play their A-plus game in this ball game Saturday afternoon.
And then the perfunctory travel victory formula: get out to a quick start, take the crowd out of it, and as Sid's saying here, you got to win the turnover battle. You have to win the turnover battle on the road. That's without a doubt, Sid. What else you got, Christian?
It's been nice that we have. It's nice that we have the talent to come back in the second half in a lot of these games this year. But Oregon's a different animal, so we definitely have to start fast and continue to score and take a little bit of pressure off the defense. Because if we're just having 3 and outs and not scoring on drives or not capitalizing, it puts way too much pressure on the defense. And
the quarterback.
Amari and Bishop are out. Exactly, and the quarterback, exactly. But going into it, or before the Iowa game, I was thinking this is like, we're just really going to have to stop the run, got to put more pressure on the defensive backs, and we're going to have to rely on them a lot more. But right now, everybody on defense is going to have to play their best game of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You got you're gonna pull up the pieces for two of your highest performers, and two of your most experienced. You're swapping out some talent, right? But unproven talent without. I mean, Christian Pierce has been out a lot. He's been playing. He's been cutting his teeth this year. But between the two of them, look at the amount of career snaps you have. You're giving up with Fitzgerald and with Ramsey, and you're filling in Urlacher and Pierce. I mean, that thing on the road, and it's gonna be loud. It's gonna be freaking. That place is. I don't know if they feed those people. They lock them up in cages, and then all of a sudden they let them out for game time. That's literally what it looks like. They look like a rabid, foaming at the mouth fan base. Pacific Northwest, loud as hell. So USC's again, get that crowd out of this thing early. Turnovers and slow starts will keep that crowd like freaking the hell out. So quick also, Trojan fight. Oregon's 55th in passing, but they're getting healthy. Sadiq's been out for a game and a half. He's their all-world tight end. That guy is a beast.
No doubt.
You have Evan Stewart, rumored maybe to find the often injured transfer from, what was it, Texas A&M? I can't remember. 4 years back. He's rumored to be back full. A name you guys will all know, Gary Brighton Jr. He was injured. He's probably back. And then who am I forgetting? Benson. He's pretty good. He's got all these guys have double-digit catches. I was talking to Gabe before we came on here. I mean, they move the ball, they pass the ball around a lot. So DeCorian Moore as well. Redshirt freshman. True freshman. DeCorian Moore. Tearing it up, leading the team in receiving. So they can move the ball, but I'm with you, Jamal. You got to get to them, got to rattle them, and then you can see Moore make some issues. And Gabe was saying, Trojan Blade Gabe, he was telling me also he's not the biggest dude, and if you smack him around a little bit, get in his head like both of you guys are saying, then they're going to have to rely on the run game. I'm not going to call them one-dimensional, but you do want to take that. You do want to take that pass option. They're play actioning off of SC getting a heavy box. It might be a long day.
Yep. No question about it, Tim. And, I think to that point about Moore, every quarterback is sort of susceptible to being, when they're pressured, they start hearing things, they start seeing the, footsteps and what they imagine things that aren't there. But in Moore's case, it's very significant because he's sort of had a history of first quarter interceptions. And he's actually had a history of pick sixes early in games, and that gets to him. And it's really hard for him to sort of get out of that funk. And defenses can sense it, defensive coordinators can sense it. And as a result of that, you bring more pressure. And he sort of gets in his head. And so I think for Oregon, less is more. I think the philosophy on Saturday is going to be, let's simplify the game plan. We're going to run the ball. We're going to be run first. We're going to be in second and short. We're going to go play action. It's going to be simple out routes because whatever subset of receivers that they have available, certainly nobody's a lemon in a lane, but those guys are all pretty talented guys. And so they're going to be able, I think, to win their share of battles, particularly when you look at this patchwork secondary. So then it's just going to be a matter of Moore having a clean pocket and being able to make some fairly routine throws. That's kind of the game plan for Oregon is let's stay in front of the sticks. Let's sort of go play action. We'll take some shots because Moore also is a more aggressive quarterback at home. He's going to take some more shots at home. You got Sadiq, who's presumably going to play as your safety blanket, and then you got a couple guys on the outside. And so less is going to be more. I think they're going to look at what Illinois did. They're going to look at what Notre Dame did, and they're going to say, look, we have the personnel to be able to do that. Because for as satisfying as that Iowa win was last week, and I, was overjoyed of us making that step, Iowa is, like Tim, we talked about, a very incomplete offensive team. Gronowski, even in terms of mechanics, he's sort of barely a college quarterback when you talk about throwing the ball, right? I mean, it's this elongated, sort of mechanics, the ball comes out wobbly, like, it's sort of a weird ball. He sort of looks like a high school quarterback when he's throwing the ball, an unbelievable runner, but you're going to be sort of tested in a different way here with Dante Moore if he's clicking. So this is the ultimate test here. This is that final step. Is this team ready to sort of compete in the playoff? We're going to find out on Saturday. But I think less is going to be more for Oregon. And I think if you're SC, this is where you got to disguise the pressure. This is where you got to get into Moore's head. This is where, if you're Danton Lynn, you're trying to figure out exotic blitz packages. You're trying to figure out, unique stunts. You want to bring pressure, but you want to bring pressure in a variety of ways, with different personnel, different sides of the field. You want him to start hearing the footsteps. You want him to start getting into his head, because if he's able to do that, picks are going to be coming. Look at what Indiana did to him, and Indiana picked him off twice. Oregon had 20 points at home. That was one of their lowest home outputs of the last 15 years. So that's going to be the key here in terms of defense.
Christian, we got to move along. So I'm so sorry, you guys. Usually the show is really laid back and we let people talk as long as they want. We got Mitchell and we got Rob waiting behind. We got 3 calls behind you. All of a sudden, it must be Oregon. It must be duck season. I don't know.
That's it.
All right, listen, really quick.
Season.
Do you have a question you want, or is the original question the one you gave us?
Yeah, no, just real quick score prediction.
What do you got? Oh, us give it? We'll wait. We're waiting to the end. So you want to give yours?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll give you mine. 31-27, good guys.
31-27. I like it. Fight on. Good job, Christian. Thank you so much for the call, man. As always. Fight on, man. Christian has been, from the very beginning, just one of our top callers. We have 1 phone call, then we got Mitchell and Rob, and then 2 more phone calls after that. We will get to you guys. We're going to move a little bit faster than we normally do, you guys. I do want to respect all of you for calling in. Thank all of you guys for being here. If you do us a favor, we're going to be here probably for at least another half hour. If you would do us a favor and hit that like button. I'm feeding off like button clicks today. We get that thing up there. We might go a little longer than an hour. I mean, I don't know what Madman's schedule is, but
let's do it.
We get those likes clicking. We'll be on for a while. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Angel from Los Angeles.
Angel, I remember you. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing really good. Just want to say a couple things. First of all, very proud of our team. We're playing championship football right now. And next man up mentality. And I see a team that really believes in themselves now. And I think that's going to be the difference. Just like we did in 2011, we went up there and we beat Oregon. I think we beat Oregon this weekend. And I think it's going to change a lot of perceptions about our football program and about our football players. That's all I have to say right now.
Oh, well, listen,
the game's on Saturday.
If you fight on. If that's all you have to say, I like it. I like he's got a Trojan victory. And that's music to our ears. We will make our predictions at the very end, but I would like to get all of everybody's predictions when they call in. Okay, we got 2 phone calls, but we got to get Mitch in here. Mitch from New Jersey. I know Mitch. Mitch, thanks for calling in again. How you doing, sir?
Good. How you guys doing? Fight on.
Fight on. Great to see you.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this game. It's 3:30 my time, perfect time. I'm liking these early games now. I used to like they'd be 7 o'clock. I know it's 3 hours, but I swear if I was president, I'd make 1 time zone for all around the world. But as a teacher, that's impossible. Right, Tim? Yeah, I hope our defensive line comes to play. We have a big game. And hope we can keep the ball a long time so they don't have a chance to get their running game going. I just hope we use our tight ends. We have great wide receivers. And I like the 2 running backs. And good. He's a pro. He's going to be a pro quarterback too. I really think. I think we're going to win like 30-24, something like that. And fight on. I'll talk to you guys later.
Fight on, Mitchell.
Great call.
Great call.
What do you think, Jamal?
Look, I mean, I love what Mitchell's saying. I mean, it's ball control here, and that's going to be a key. Mitchell, I think I recalled you saying last week, hey, maybe it might be, 40-20 SC against Iowa, and we were like, oh, there might not be enough possessions to go around to be able to make that happen. I think this is going to be one of those games where we want to reduce the number of possessions, to your point. So love the call, love the analysis. And, our skill players are as good as any in the country. So this is not going to be about the skill positions. They're going to travel, and they're going to travel really well. This is the ultimate trench test now on both sides of the ball. So love the prediction and love the analysis.
All right, fight on, Mitch. Thanks for calling in, man.
Yeah, thanks again.
Great call, Mitch.
Yeah, thank you.
Mitch, as always, every week, bringing it. Appreciate his support and appreciate the call, as always. Thanks, Mitch. All right, we have our next caller is Rob. Rob, how you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good, Rob. Where are you from?
Well, you might recognize me from Mark's show. I call in to him fairly often. I'm a Notre Dame fan, so enemy in the at the gates, I guess. But no, I enjoy watching your guys. I like to watch lots of different college football, podcasts and things like that. And I like especially now with our rivalry maybe ending, which would really suck. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I believe now the ball's more in Notre Dame's court, so they need to get their butts in gear and just accept. I don't care when we play you guys, and I know Marcus Freeman said that. So if the university feels the same way, it doesn't really matter when the game's played, in my opinion, as long as we play it. But it's another like tradition that I don't want to see lost. But besides that, I'm just hoping that you guys go out and I wouldn't say shock the world, because I think USC is a good team. They've played very well. The win in Iowa was impressive, but I think it is largely considered to be an upset if you guys win. But I just hope you guys go out there and kick Oregon's ass, if you don't mind my French here.
You got well. That's what you hope for. What's your prediction?
I think it's not going to be all that high scoring of a game. I know a lot of people think it's going to be fairly high scoring, but I kind of see Lincoln. He's probably going to want to try to control as much clock as possible. And if he can get King Miller, like if you guys can run the ball a little bit and get creative with some schemes, not too creative, because I believe that's one of the problems that both my offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock gets a little bit too cute, and I think Lincoln has gotten too cute at times. But
agreed.
Yeah. I see this going. I'm going to say like 28 to like 24 USC.
Wow! Oh, look
Love
at that.
it.
We got even the Irish calling for some wins.
There we
Duck fans,
go.
where you at? You guys are getting shattered on the predictions. Rob.
So that's my score, and like I said, I hope you guys go out and kick the Ducks' butt, because we need this. We need both USC and Notre Dame to be at the top of college football again. That's the way it should be.
I fully agree with you, Rob. Let's get back to those 1970s where like it's either USC or Notre Dame winning the national championship.
I'll take it, brother.
No doubt.
right.
Well, thanks
All
for
right.
calling, Rob. Really
Right on, go
appreciate
Irish.
it.
All right,
All
take
right,
it
have
easy, man.
Yep. See you.
Tim, how
call.
fun would it
Outstanding
be? How fun would it be? Just 20 seconds if SC plays Notre Dame in the playoff, huh?
Well, you know what? I don't want to go back to South Bend. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? Hey, caller. Hi. Oh, also, yes. Bam's Cam. Thank you for correcting me. Sorry. Earlier this week, he's been ruled out for the season. Knee injury. Corey Moore is done for the year. Tough break for the kid, but he's young. He'll be back. He definitely will be back. Thanks for the correction. Okay. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Caller, you're on. All right, hang in there, caller. We'll go to another call and we'll come back to you, right? So hopefully we get you back then.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I got you.
We
now.
got
Hi.
you.
Thanks for calling. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I was on mute. I'm sorry.
No worries.
My name is Dan. I'm calling from LA. I listen to you guys all the time. I used to call into your show last year. It's been a while though. I listen all the time, but I think USC is going to win. They're going to be hearing all week of how they're going to get blown out. But I don't know what the score is going to be. I just feel like it's going to be a 10-point game in the fourth quarter. Mayava's going to drive the field and push it to a 17-point game, and they'll close it out.
Ooh.
I don't know what the score will be, but I feel like it's going to come down to that. Overall, I'm just frustrated with college football right now. And I think eventually it's going to have to come to a head, and these polls and these people picking things are going to have to go away, especially with players being paid now and just all these rankings. Because if schools and everyone's going to be paying these players and getting these top recruiting classes, and you're going to have people, being ranked, not ranked, and then they have to work their way up to get to the playoffs. I just think it's silly. If everyone gets paid, they're just going to have to eventually adapt the NFL model where it's going to be wins and losses. And if they do that, I believe you'll see Georgia playing Oregon with no problem, because if they lose, they're not going to be worried about they're going to fall off the rankings. They'll be, it'll go by wins and losses. What happens in different divisions, and then you can make the playoffs if you win your division, just similar to NFL. It's going to have to go that way, because these polls are crazy. Like you starting teams who are good with not ranked, like USC starting 30th and they have to work their way up by winning. They're still number 17. You have these teams like Utah with, no good wins. I mean, they beat a few teams, but they have, they're already there, so they're going up. So it's just not fair how stuff is. But I'm just,
Yeah, I mean the preseason polls. Hey, it gives us something to talk about. It gives the media, it makes the media happy. But I like Did you guys catch Lincoln Riley's comment? He was asked about, game day and what do they think? And he's like, yeah, man, those guys counted us out, or I can't remember the exact quote, but that's exactly what it is. It's just, you gotta block out that outside noise. I like the fact that USC started at 30. I mean, I think this expanded playoff. Now, if we were still doing a 4-team playoff, absolutely get rid of that crap. But with the expanded playoff, really, you take care of business. You know what I mean? Like we're seeing with USC. USC loses a couple of games. They win their most important game of the season, really, which is going to be against Oregon. It's probably their toughest game. This season kind of ramped up the whole way. They go into Autzen and beat Oregon. They absolutely deserve to be in the playoffs, and they will be. I mean, they're at 15 right now. A win over Oregon, they're gonna vault right in, possibly even to like the cusp of the top 10. So I mean, I'd love to see. No, actually, I don't, because I like the drama. I mean, that's one more thing we got to keep this college. The polls, even the polls are gone for deciding the champion. Just something about, like, right now we're talking about anything that generates conversations for college football, I think can't be a bad thing. But I mean, I do agree with you, Dan. It does suck. There's too much regionality at Jamal. I mean, maybe they get a little more. Maybe they could figure it out so where like they're checking people with these ridiculous rankings, how you drop people, where you just go strictly on record. You don't look at really that who's in a conference, what conference you're in. Is it a road game? Did you lose because your quarterback was out? I know the CFP does that, but do the polls really take, for the fact that like USC was missing their left tackle and both running backs when they lost to a very good Notre Dame team that's ranked really high on the road in the rain, and had a lead in the third quarter. I mean, do they take all these things into factor? Probably not.
Yeah, no, Tim, I think it's a great point. And, it's such a good analysis about, the state of college football right now. But I think there's sort of a happy medium there where maybe week 3, week 4 is when you come out with the rankings, because you can also sort of understand there's a lot of faultiness with these preseason rankings. But it's also the mechanism by which you decide sort of who's on TV and what time slot, right? So think about it. If everybody was, sort of unranked, quote unquote, it would be very difficult to figure out who's going to play when and where and on what station, what slot, and all of those things, for better or for worse. And I think the other way to think about it is, the rankings are not great at the beginning, but they have a tendency to sort of converge, correctly most of the time by the end of the season. And I think this is one of those years where I don't know if there's going to be a ton of controversy after 12. And I think that is a barometer of saying, hey, does the system actually work? Because if you don't really have like a 13th and a 14th team with a legitimate gripe and all this controversy, we should have been in the playoff, then guess what? You probably did a pretty decent job of getting it right, regardless of how you started. So I think that's sometimes where we got to remember is part of this is sort of for the fun and the drama and the conversation, to Tim's point, but it really doesn't matter how you start it. If you get it right by the end between ranking and eye test and you get the top 12, then given the limitations of the conference champions in the group of 5, then the system, you sort of got it right.
Yeah. And look, just like the tournament, right? Just like the NCAA basketball tournament, if you're really bitching about being a bubble team, and I don't mean this, if you're bitching about being like, you think you should be like a 14 seed and you got left out of the tournament, it's like, come on, man. A regular season's got to mean something.
Right.
And so if you're worried about being a bubble when you have a 12-team playoff, look, let's face it. Honestly, I piss a lot of people off, but there's like 5 teams are going to win this thing. You know what I mean? They're going to throw their hat in there and see if they're going to win. I will say, though, parity is happening with NIL, with the transfer portal. That's kind of changing. In the past, it's like, dude, 2 teams have a chance to win this thing in most years. Now it's like you're stretching 4, 5, 6 teams. And I think down the road, it's going to be more NFL, which is going to suck. And then the regular season is not going to matter as much. And teams are going to be getting into this thing with like 3 losses and blah, 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 whatever you think's great for football. I like the tradition. I'm an old guy. I like the tradition. I like the fact that, every game meant something back in the day, and it doesn't anymore. But great phone call, by the way. Thank you so much. Anything else before we get you out of here?
Yeah. I just want to say, I don't know if you guys heard, but now since you're talking about the polls, I've been hearing the talking heads someone on ESPN and it's on YouTube now trying to push the bar now saying that if USC wins out, beats Oregon and UCLA, they might need Michigan to beat Ohio State to get into the playoffs. I'm like, that's crazy because if that happens, USC would be number 3 at minimum in the Big Ten with only 1 loss. And now these people are trying to push this narrative that now they need Michigan to beat Ohio State for them not like it's just.
So I threw it out there.
How they trying to do this to USC?
I threw it out there a couple weeks ago. I said, look, I just look no further than 2003. I know it was a computer back then that did some wonky stuff. Look at 2008. Look at who is broadcasting the playoffs. Just let that sit in for a moment. Like who's really kind of running this thing, right? There's not a lot of love for the Big Ten or USC, and they're gonna pump the SEC. The SEC again has some quality teams. 1 through 8? Would you say, Jamal? Right?
Yeah.
And those 8 are pretty damn solid. And up at the top, they're really, really good. But if you're gonna leave the third best team in the Big Ten, which I think is arguably in different metrics the best conference in the United States as well. I mean, it's not like it was maybe 5-6 years ago where it's like without a doubt SEC crushing it, right? They're still the best conference, but the difference, it's not that much. And so if you're talking about having 4 or 5 SEC teams and leaving out a number 3 or 4 SEC teams and the third in the Big Ten, you only have 2 from the Big Ten. That's when I start saying that's some bullshit. Jamal,
I totally agree, Tim. And I think to your point, that gap has narrowed pretty significantly between the SEC and the Big Ten, particularly at the top. So if you take the top 3 of the SEC and you take the top 3 of the Big Ten, that's going to be a battle, neck and neck. And it's any conference's sort of, game at that point. You take any top 3 from the SEC, you take the top 3 from the Big Ten, that's a dogfight. Where the SEC has an advantage over the Big Ten right now still, I would say, is in that 4 through 8, Tim, to your point, where there is a little bit of a cliff in the Big Ten after about 4 in terms of, that middle of the Big Ten, that sort of 5 through 11, 5 through 12 is pretty mediocre. And then you got a bunch of teams with like no wins, 1 win. I mean, it falls off pretty quickly. So that's where the gap needs to close. But to that point, if you're the number 3 team in the Big Ten, you can line up against anyone in the SEC. So the fact that this is even a conversation, I mean, look, if there were ever a scenario, and we've gotten burned, Tim, and your point, 03, 08, but other teams have gotten burned too, right? Like Miami got burned in 2000 after beating Florida State and getting left out. I mean, we've seen it in a number of different iterations. I mean, at that point, if you're USC, you got to go independent like the next day. If something were to happen where you beat Oregon, you close out, you beat UCLA, finish the season 10-2, and not get in, that might be a bigger travesty of the 2025 Trojans not even making the top 12 than even potentially 03 and 08, because at the end of the day, we were talking about top 2 there. So there's still some debates. Here we're saying top 12, you can't make it as a 10-2 team, number 3 in the Big Ten. There would be an absolute abomination.
USC, number 1 in both polls, 2003, left out. And we saw what happened to the other team. By the way, speaking of the other team, hey, listen, here's the I would love to hear from you. Here's the phone number, Dave. This is the kind of call I'm dying for. I love my Trojans. I love my Irish fans. This is the call. I got a feeling. I think I know where this was coming from. Now, it might be coming from up north. It could be, but I'm not sure. Dave, love to hear from you. Give us a call, all right?
Storm and Norman, Oklahoma.
All right. Hey, caller, hang on 1 second. We have someone on StreamYard. We got grabbed. I'll be right with you. Thank you for your patience. Appreciate it. All right. Next up. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you doing? This is the Cardinal and Bold calling from San Diego.
Nice to hear from you, Cardinal Bold. So what's on your mind?
Just a couple quick points. As far as the game for Saturday, I think Tanuke's going to have a big game because I think he's going to be, kind of like a unexpected target. You know what I mean? Everyone's going to focus on Lane and Lemon. I think he needs a good game. I think Brian Jackson's going to have to contribute along with King Miller. I think you alluded to it earlier as far as ball control, right? If that's a strategy that Lincoln's gonna focus on, I think Brian Jackson could give us that good little that different look. And then my main one is the tight end room. I think Lake and I just forgot the other guy's name. It starts with a W. What's it? Walker?
Walker Lyons.
Walker.
Yeah, I think they have to have a big game. If Maev is going to be scrambling around, making plays, becoming a legend, I can see those tight ends, getting those little sneaky opportunities. So, I'm excited. I just can't wait to shut the Ducks up, man. It's just too much chatter from over there, man. It's just, it is what it is, man. I can go on forever, but oh yeah, by the way, Dante Moore's still a Bruin in my eyes, you know what I mean? So he got that Bruin spirit. So yeah, we put some pressure on him. That Bruin will come out.
Oh, no.
It's gonna come out, you know what I mean? So those turnovers will come, but that's what I'm thinking. As far as prediction, I don't like having heart attacks during games, but I got our amazing kicker with a walk-off.
Sayuri.
Sayuri.
Yes.
Okay.
Walk off to win it, and the legend, he'll be a legend forever. Free drinks in
Absolutely.
LA for his whole lifetime.
Absolutely. Free drinks, free dinner all over LA.
Yes.
Ryan, if you're out there, all you gotta do is make the kick, which he's done the whole year. So he's perfect. Wait, hold on. Let's stop. Let's not jinx anything. Yes, let's hope that happens. That would be amazing.
He just missed that one, Tim, when he hit the post against Purdue. I mean, otherwise it's been, money. I mean, he's 16 to 17, I believe, something like that.
He's a machine. I mean, he just looks so smooth. Like all kickers have to be, right? They're like automatic. It's almost like golf, they have that muscle memory. But he gets out there, he lines up, and he just drills it, dude. And I'm just telling you, he is one of the, he along with Waymon Jordan were like, I mean, we knew Waymon was good. We didn't know he'd be that. I mean, come on, don't lie. You didn't know Waymon was be that good. But seeing that has just been amazing. And then Ryan Sayuri, just the way he's been drilling the ball, it's just a blessing. But hey, really appreciate the call. Carlo and Bold, that's a solid call. Appreciate you calling in. I think you called in before, no? I can't remember, but appreciate your call and look forward to hearing from you again. Right on. All right, we got another call. God, they're rolling. Appreciate you
everyone's
guys
bringing their A game tonight. This is Oregon week.
It absolutely is. Okay, we got a caller. Hi, caller. What's your name? And where are you calling from?
What's up? Can you hear me?
I got you.
We got you.
All right, this is B. Ryder from Las Vegas via Wilmington, California.
Nice. All right. Well, what are your thoughts on the game?
Oh man, I'm excited, man. There's so many storylines. Where do you begin? You got Pregnon selling out for the cash. You got Bear Alexander who quit on us like a bum. You got. I'm thinking that 2011 energy. Y'all remember 2011 when we went up there?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Smack that ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lane Kiffin in the all white. That's how I'm gonna be up in Eugene.
the snowman outfit. Okay, well that worked in Eugene. It wasn't so great for the Sun Bowl. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just gonna say.
Ooh, put that out there. Tim Burn.
Hey, well, we not gonna be in Tempe.
That's right. Good point.
So I'm just hoping for. I like to see Carlon Jones contribute this week, though. I think if we want to stop the run, we need to let the young defensive tackle have a shot up there. So far, every time he's been in the game, he showed well. So I think this is the week where he gets a shot, and we shut down. I'm not gonna say we shut down Oregon's run, but we limit their run enough to come away with a victory.
Well, I agree with you. And speaking on Carlin, yeah, he has one of the more memorable game plays of the entire season for me, where he met that guy in the hole and just was that Iowa or was it Nebraska? I can't remember. He meets a guy in the hole and the dude goes nowhere.
I want to say it was Nebraska.
It was Nebraska. Yeah.
He meets a guy in the hole and just like the guy hit a wall, the proverbial wall. And I haven't seen that happen a lot for this defensive line. And I did see with Carlin. I agree with you. I think that also Jide Abasiri, he's not getting enough. He's had his moments both ways, but he's been getting more and more consistent as a young guy. And then moving to the older guys, not enough people are talking about Lucas's game. I mean, he's really been kind of that
Lucas
guy. Yeah, just watching him
and it's
this year.
Unfortunate because a lot of Lucas's plays are getting wiped off the stat sheet. Unfortunately, he should really have 6 sacks on the season right now.
Well, I'll take what he. Pressures are not as good as sacks as far, especially in this game where I think you're going to need to get some negative plays. I guess he's going to need that with the way. I'm just going to call it how it is. Our run game, it's like, even against Iowa rushed for over 5 yards carry in that game. And that happens in Eugene. If they give them their average at 7, forget it. 6, 5, 6, questionable. You're going to need guys, someone said earlier, Urlacher, he could put some pop in there. We've seen Christian Pierce as a line, we're talking about the pass coverage. Okay. But those guys in the box, I'd love to see those guys in the box. That's going to be great up front on the line. That's going to help out a lot. I really like the way we've seen with the linebackers. The linebackers are coming on strong. Jaden Walker. I just really like. I really like the way we're peaking right now as a defense. I'm totally. By the way, Jamal, I'm totally jinxing us right now. I'm completely jinxing this thing. Right, but I do like what I've seen the last couple of games. I do like it a lot.
No, I totally agree. Tim, I look, this is a game where the answer is everyone in the defensive front is going to need to make an impact, because this is going to be a game where Oregon's going to be more comfortable sticking with the run at home for longer periods of time because they're at home. They got 3 running backs, so they're always going to be fresh. So this is going to be a game where everyone's going to have to jump in. And Albasari's a great one. Jones is a great one. Look, Tompkins going to have to do his thing. Jakeem's going to probably have to make a big play here or there. You're going to have to get the edge play. Yeah, absolutely. The backers are going to have to, be in the box and be physical. I saw earlier in the chat, about, hey, what do you do with Sadiq, right? Like, we haven't really figured out the nickel situation. We're not really confident, from a inside corner perspective. We're banged up at safety. Look, is Gentry going to have to, cover Sadiq in these situations? Perhaps, but then you're really susceptible to those wheel routes from the backs. And Oregon loves to get the backs involved as receivers on the underneath stuff. And so this is going to be a massive game for the backers to be able to stay at home with those backs, either in run situations or on the wheel routes. That's where Stevens has gotten beat from time to time. Sometimes Walker gets a little too aggressive. So everybody in the front is going to have to play physical and make an impact here, because they're going to stick with the run game for a long period of time in this game. They're not going to get spooked. Even when you're down, think about it with us against Iowa, down 21-7, down 21-10 at the half. You're down 11, you're down 14, but you're at home and you believe in your offensive system. You're going to stick with it because you feel like at home you're going to be able to find your way back in the game. So the answer is everybody. The answer is all of the above for sure. Yep. And great call and great analysis.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, Brandon.
To 150 yards on the ground, and my score prediction is 38-35 USC. Fight on.
Fight on. 38-35. I like it.
That's the 2011 score. So.
Oh, there you go. I like that. Even better. All right, let's keep them rolling. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going? Calling from Ohio.
Ohio. What's your name?
Bo.
Bo, thanks for calling in. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I just have some general thoughts. Since this is really the first matchup between USC and Oregon in the Big Ten, I think it's kind of interesting. I really think Lanning's going to introduce old Lincoln Riley to Big Ten bully ball.
Oh, we've been hearing that a lot. Yeah.
I think probably 300 yards rushing, and then they're just going to throw it up to Sadiq in the end zone for fun. And they're going to beat you guys over the air, but it's really going to be on the ground, I think.
Yeah, a lot. Well, I mean, that could happen. Or USC could just again do what we've done in the past and given up the run early, and then in the second half We have Dan Lanning figure it out and shut it down. We gave up 300 yards to Michigan in the first half with a defensive line that wasn't as good. And as much as we're talking up the running backs at Oregon, those running backs last year at Michigan were pretty damn good. And, I agree with you. I think that also, if you look at a run game, look at Notre Dame's run game. I mean, you don't get Love and Price. The running backs up north are pretty good, but they're definitely not Love, and they're not really Price either. So, when I say this to you, I'm not saying that Oregon isn't a great run team, but there's a lot of teams been trying to introduce USC to the Big Ten bully ball, and USC's done a pretty good job responding to it. And I think USC's offense is getting better and better and better to where I do respect Oregon's defense. I really do. And I think the games they played close, again, at Penn State, at Iowa. Iowa's a different team at home, so I'm kind of throwing those scores out. I'm not really comparing them. But to think that Oregon's going to run right over us, it very well could happen. But just as much as you can see what USC has done, USC, if you want to try that, I think we have the bodies now. What do you think, Jamal, to keep that from happening? 300 yards, I don't think they're getting 300 yards. But I think the magic number, like we talked about in the past with these kind of teams, Jamal, is 200. And I think USC's got a pretty damn good – that's a good number. I think it's going to be right around 200. Little less, little more. Under USC wins.
What did Iowa rush for?
What did Iowa – like 180, I think?
180.
Yeah.
My next point was I think this might be a career game for Bear Alexander. I think this is the game. Also, Mateo on the edge. He's been quiet this year. I think this is the game where he pops off.
Okay. Very well could happen. You're not going to find out many fans from Bear Alexander the way he handled his business last year here. Wish him health, but beyond that, not much more. Jamal, any thoughts?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jamal.
I think it's one of those things where, sort of to your point, if Oregon were to win the game, it would have to be a run-heavy dose. Now, is it going to be north of 300 yards? That's unlikely in my mind, but it would be a 250 on the ground, 175 through the air type of game for Oregon to come out on top. So it's going to be sort of run-heavy. If that's the game on their terms that they really want to play, and they want to be able to throw, when they can, and when, again, those pre-snap reads, they're going to be looking at the box the way Illinois did, the way Notre Dame did, and then this team is constructed to be able to do so. I think the difference here is going to be, I think the SC maturity over the course of the season, getting some wins under their belt, having this experience now, playing this game as game 11, as opposed to, say, game 5, game 7. And then on the flip side, it's going to be, with more being kind of more susceptible to ebbs and flows. I think that's going to be kind of critical there. So it's going to be a battle. And frankly, if Oregon's going to come out on top, it's going to be run heavy. Uiagalelei is probably going to have a big game, and their defensive line is probably going to have a big game, right? That the logic would state that way. The question is, who's going to enforce whose will?
And that's what we said from the start of the show. This game's going to be decided if USC can slow down the run game and protect Jayden Maiava. That is your blueprint. And if the Ducks can get to Maiava and somehow slow down this passing game, because that's the only way. They're not going to defend. Lemon's going to get his. Jacoby's going to get his. Chinook's going to get his. Lake's going to get his yards. The way they're going to get is if they can, if Mateo comes off the edge and feasts on our offensive line. Hopefully that isn't the case. But again, losing, it's just the wrong week. I said it going into Notre Dame, now going into Eugene. It's just the wrong couple of weeks to lose your NFL left tackle. It's just not really good timing for USC. So those are all possibilities. Yeah, I don't think that Oregon's ever going to do anyone to anything, to be honest with you. But it's they've been in the Big Ten for 2 years, just like USC, and a great season last year. But then when it came down to it, see, here's what I think is the great equalizer is. If you want to hold on one second, the great equalizer here is coaching. The great equalizer here is coaching. We know that Oregon has the players, but when it comes to coaching, Dan Lanning showed us last year. that when you give, because they won the first one against Ohio State, but if you give a good coaching staff, a little bit of time, you know what I mean, and they had time, they had a bye, and then they went and laid an egg in the playoffs. So, I've never been impressed with Dan Lanning's coaching, to be honest with you. He's a great fire up, rah guy. What was it, Jamal? They're about business, not clicks, or whatever, whatever that, motivational yah stuff is. But with the talent he's had in the Pac-12 and now into the Big Ten, winning the Big Ten last year was a great run. And that team played their asses off. But man, I think the coaching let them down. I think they had they should have gone farther than what they did. And that's just on the coaches.
I think it was the month. Me personally, I think it was the month off between the conference championship and that game. I mean, the momentum Ohio State had coming off that was Tennessee game. That was a lot of momentum coming off a home playoff game. But
being able to prepare for being able to get healthy, and then you're right. I mean, they don't know who they're playing in that game, but they had a pretty good idea who they're playing, I think. And being able to prepare, obviously, to prepare for both teams, but they were leaning more towards Ohio State. But anyway, we could disagree. You could be a Dan Lanning fan all you want. I think that I think the guy's at his ceiling. I don't think Dan's that great of a coach, to be honest with you.
Can go from brother Alabama isn't calling Lincoln Riley.
They're not calling Dan Lanning either. That was bullshit. That was just him getting a raise and soaking the Ducks for some more money, buddy.
You turned down the whole SEC.
Okay.
Lincoln Riley ran from the SEC.
All right. Well, we've had enough. All right. So thank you very much from Duckland. I think that was a decent call in the beginning. The Lincoln Riley running from the SEC thing is just so played, dude. It's just embarrassing when people say that, Jamal.
It's
for them.
I think Tim, to sort of keep it rational here. I think what's interesting is going to be, again, who's going to be able to hold their nerve, because I think, to your point, Lanning. Look, I think you can slice it both ways about last year, where, hey, were they prepared, or was there a rust factor? And you sometimes see that in the NFL too. When you get that bye and this one seed that's hosting a divisional and they kind of lay an egg because they're playing a team that's really hot. So you can sort of slice it both ways. I kind of go back to the year before, though, in those games against Washington, questionable fourth down decisions and, game management, clock management. And so, Lanning sometimes gets unnerved in these big moments. And, Lincoln also has gotten unnerved in big moments, right? Sometimes being quick with the trick plays and not wanting to sort of grind it out. We saw that against Notre Dame, some questionable things there. So I think that's going to be the fascinating chess match as well as you go into the fourth quarter and potentially in a close game. Who's going to dial up, the right plays, but also who's going to stay true to themselves and not get unnerved. I think that's going to be sort of a fascinating subtext going in as we get later into this game, assuming it's close.
Chat, I think Dave's just an angry guy. I don't know where he's from, to be honest with you. I mean, it could I mean, we look at the grammar here. It could be the SEC. It could be Autzen. I don't know. I mean,
look at the grammar.
He's struggling. He's struggling a little bit piecing together. I mean, come on. I mean, is that really a sentence? I mean, dude, come on. Slow down. Call right here, Dave. 888-997-4539. I think we're gonna get out of here. I don't know if Dave can string sentences together, but appreciate everyone being here, you guys. Thank you all so much. Appreciate that. As much as I gave the guy a hard time, Duck fan, thank you for calling in. Appreciate you also calling in. Trojan fans, we had a plethora of great moments and calls. And you know what? Amongst the callers, because we didn't get the Duck fans. Did we get the Duck fans prediction?
I don't think so. No.
Unfortunately, he didn't put a prediction. So that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people going saying SC is winning this game. 7. Actually, no, 7. Yeah, 7. 7 winning and 0 losses. So I think it's locked up, Jamal. We win. There you go.
Done deal. Done deal, Tim. It's undisputed. It's going to be. Look, this is that level, right? I mean, I think if we take a sort of a step back, I think if this is a 9-3 season. You're seeing the improvement from the previous 2 years. To your point, Tim, you don't win the Iowa game last year. You don't win potentially Nebraska. We got some help there with the injury, but especially that Iowa game, you don't win that one last year. You can see the steps. But if you win this game, my gosh, the feeling of this season is just an absolutely resounding success. So there's just so much on the line. I think there's a sense maybe we're a year early in terms of what, we want to be able to achieve, but it's all there and the momentum is there. And I think for that argument of, being a year early, look, I mean, Lemon and Lane aren't going to be here next year. Gentry's not going to be here next year. Ramsey might not be here next year. You're talking about your very best offensive players and your very best defensive players not going to be here. So windows of opportunity sometimes in college football, we think, it's next year. And sometimes next year is just not as good as what you have right now. So just a golden opportunity, Tim, let's see what this group can do, because this would be unquestionably the biggest win of the Lincoln Riley era at USC, hands down. Yeah. There's just no question about it by orders of magnitude. And as much as, he silenced some folks, at the end of the day, people want to see, can he win against an elite team on the road? Can he beat a balanced team, a balanced elite team? Those are the two narratives that are still out there. And those are the two narratives that will remain out there despite the positivity from a 9-3 season if this game goes the other way on Saturday.
This will be the most balanced offense we played this year, without a doubt. I mean, that Notre Dame run team game was holy shit. But I mean, as far, CJ Carr still struggling as a true freshman. I'm sure he had a lot of throws he wanted back in that game. But I mean, Elijah Page, Bishop Fitzgerald. But as much as we say that, we've seen a lot of great young talent on both sides of the ball as well. So you lose Elijah Page, but you're returning basically your entire offensive line, except him. Right. Defensive line, you're losing a couple of guys, but not guys really that have been major contributors. So, I mean, it's going to be
outside of
trenches,
Lucas,
USC just as strong.
Very good point. Yep.
So, I mean, so we lose a lot, but we bring back a lot, and I'm with you. And then, there's going to be a couple of you guys, you've seen this freshman class. You don't win with freshman classes, but like you saw with Stewart this year, there are guys, and with Bucard, he flashed a little bit too, just as a true freshman. There's going to be a couple of guys going to come in this class and surprise some of you guys. Thank you so much for the super chat. As I said, we better not suck this year. That's your catchphrase. You'll always bring it. So appreciate the super chat. We have one more caller, Jamal. You hang on to this one? Let's do it. Okay. All right, caller. Hi. The caller and I basically, actually, I forgot to turn the phone line off, and I recognized this caller. He and I talked for about an hour offline about the Trojans, but I'm so sorry, sir. I forgot your name. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Rulo, calling from Bermuda Dunes.
Sorry, I missed the beginning.
Pardon?
Who is this again? Rodolfo. Thank you, Rodolfo.
Yes.
All right. Appreciate talking to you earlier. What's on your mind?
No, I was just laughing about what you said about that dude Dave. Also, you could tell he might be an SEC with the grammar that he has. He might be an SEC person because English is like a second language to those people over there.
Oregon's not known for high academics either. I'm just going to tell you right now. But go ahead. Wait, hold on. How many Supreme Court justices from Oregon? Let me think about this. Go ahead. Sorry. Not that SC can say anything, but you know what I mean.
In my opinion, hopefully, offensive line or defensive line will be the MVP game. They have to come out violent and aggressive, and not people on their ass, especially for that quitter, trader, koala, and Big Non. That, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's some motivation, but I will tell you, Rodolfo, I will tell you that the fans are a little more angry than the players. Let's just put it that way. The players, I think, kind of realize sometimes that these are business decisions. Sometimes they realize they know what's going on behind the scenes, etc. Blah, blah, blah. I don't wish any ill will on the guys, but I just, Pregnon, the way he kind of last minute ditched USC, which kind of left USC in a lurch for the guard position. And Bear Alexander's camp, a lot of people defended Bear Alexander's camp like heavily. I can't see how anyone defends Bear Alexander's camp for what they did to USC. You just don't quit on your team in the middle of the season for whatever your reason is, because you have teammates. Yeah.
Exactly. I have no love for quitters whatsoever. I would not tolerate them anytime, any place, anywhere. But yeah. But also too, we should have Madman give a speech to the team, because he gets pretty pumped up. I even get excited just hearing him talk sometimes on the podcast.
He should. Maybe
I appreciate that,
give Lincoln a
Rodolfo.
call.
Thank
Let
you
him
for the
know.
kind words.
Are you available? Are you available Saturday? Up in Eugene, Jamal.
Let's do it.
Rodolfo,
Tim,
give Lincoln a call.
Are we gonna travel together? I mean, I'm ready to jump into the locker room.
Yeah, most definitely. After all those, don't you have a degree in psychology or something like that? You have like about 10 of them, don't you?
Not quite 10, Rodolfo, but no, thank you. No, it's the Indian background, Rodolfo. I can't help it. You gotta talk to my parents about this one.
Yeah. I think there's nothing wrong with getting a good, solid education. I would never trade my education that I got from SC. I enjoyed my time there, and it cost pretty penny, but hey, Pops paid for it.
I agree. I agree.
I don't owe anybody anything.
That's smart. Rodolfo, really quickly, Rodolfo, do you got a score for us?
No, I hate predicting scores. I will not do. God willing, we win, and I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that as a win for you, even though you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't do it, I'm gonna take that as a win because it was close enough to a win for me. I'm feeling.
But I love wise man, Rodolfo. Yes, don't want to jinx it. I love it.
I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, and one thing, Tim and also Matt, your opinion about it. They were on ESPN today that Boy Toy, Saban's Boy Toy was on there, Feinbaum and all them, and they were saying, they flat out said it, that if SC and Oregon finish with identical records, that chances, and also Michigan, then the committee should choose Michigan because we're irrelevant.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Because seeing we beat Michigan, we beat Michigan by 3 touchdowns.
Exactly.
I mean, that's who said that? Feinbaum said that. I mean, I'm not surprised.
Feinbaum and that idiot Stephen A. that doesn't know. All he does is regurgitate whatever his friend Saban says. Whatever he says, that's what he agreed. He's all saying that Alabama. I have no love for Notre Dame, but I know Notre Dame would go for. Oh, I'm sorry. Would Alabama?
Your ex service, so I'll let that one go. Yeah, I'll tell you this. I'll say this right. There's only one person at ESPN that I even listen to, and that's Sua Cravens. The rest of them get stuffed. I mean, those guys, I used to like Herb Street, but even Herb Street just seems like these days his analysis is a bit off too, man. I don't know if it's doing some NFL as well. I don't know what the story is, but I really used to like Herb Street. His analysis is off. All those guys. Does anyone? Do you guys in the chat? Do you guys even watch ESPN anymore? It's just garbage. It really is. Get your stuff from. You're gonna find better stuff from the Voice of College Football, and there's a lot of choices around here. You can go get some really good information. You don't gotta go listen to ESPN anymore. I mean,
ESPN is just SEC propaganda and their narrative. That's all it is, and it's sad and pathetic.
Well, they've got about what? They have billions of reasons why that's their narrative. Let's put it that way. You just follow the money.
True. And another thing they said also was that Notre Dame. This is Feinbaum. I nearly choked and threw my coffee at the television when he said that basically he was saying the poor Alabama because the committee has a bias against the SEC and that they're favoring Notre Dame.
Yeah,
this idiot is saying that there's a bias against I mean, talk about the kettle calling the pot black. I mean, really, dude?
So SC over Notre Dame would be a tough one to swallow because obviously on the field, and it was a solid win. I would love Joe Long and Sid and Irish. I mean, I'll sit here all day and say, well, what if it didn't start raining? But it did start raining, and one team did win, and that.
No, but they're saying that Notre Dame there's a bias for them, that the committee wants them in. And
I agree, there is.
He was crying that saying that it was biased. I'll tell you one thing.
I bet they are
a bias for the SEC. They want 6 teams to
get I think they're saying that the Notre Dame is preventing a 6th SEC team from getting it.
Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you have one of those?
Crying on TV.
Why don't you have one of those SEC teams go into South Bend and play in South Bend, and then we'll talk, because that's a good, not great Notre Dame team. You know what I mean? And if we're talking about a 6th or 5th SEC team, I'm not slotting them above Notre Dame. Notre Dame's shown, and CJ Carr's getting better with every game. I mean, they're going to be a tough out.
Well, I mean, think about it, Tim. I mean, the best team right now in the SEC beat Notre Dame by 1.
Oh, there you go. Last minute drive.
Yeah.
On a missed Notre Dame extra point.
They only lost to
Oh yeah, good point.
And didn't they lose to Miami only by 3?
Yeah.
And they played one of the worst games they played all season long. Miami is a joke. Miami hasn't left the state of Florida only to go lose it against SMU. They're pathetic.
I mean, we're just follow the money. Follow the money, SEC, and the worry you're gonna have is going to be based on money, based on TV, based on ESPN. Looking at, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys, we're pretty solid because they are. USC Oklahoma is the wet dream of the century for ESPN. They might hate us. They really hate us. But they will do whatever it takes to get that. If that is a possibility for SC to go. By the way, so imagine this. So SC goes into Norman. I don't know if they meet in the first round or not, but can you imagine the storylines of Lincoln Riley going to Norman, USC playing Oklahoma going back before Lincoln Riley, just the hatred there to begin with? It would be off the charts. That game would be so highly watched. That might be of the first. I mean, I'm dead serious.
No, it would probably be the 8-9 game. It might be 8-9 or 7-10. So there's a chance. With the win. I think Rodolfo, to your point, sort of to the earlier conversation, I think a lot of people are just saying things for clicks. At the end of the day, SC beats Oregon. I think this is the year that Ohio State will beat Michigan and sort of reverse the last 4 years. And so Michigan then's completely off the board with a 3rd loss, right? So it's a pure hypothetical scenario because it's not in reality. You're not going to have all 3 of those teams finish with 2 losses. No, Michigan will have a 3rd loss, be eliminated. SC, the head-to-head over Oregon, will stand. The rest of Oregon's resume is not credible enough. And so SC will be in. I think people are just saying this for clicks and views, and it's very clickbaity. But this is a win and you're in type of situation. I think the unfortunate part is, had SC beaten Illinois, there's a world here where SC could lose this game and still get in. That is not the case in any way, shape, or Blade said it right there. And so that's where the margin for error is absolutely 0, right? You lose this game, no shot. But, you win, you're in.
They would point to USC and say, who'd you win? What is your best win? A 3-touchdown game against Michigan at home? I mean, what is USC?
It's the double whammy, right, Tim? Because if Ohio State beats Michigan, Michigan's now a 3-loss team. By Oregon and SC beating Iowa, even though Iowa's a really good team, they're a 4-loss team, right? So I mean, you're killing your own resume.
SC might get that 4th team in over USC if we're 10-2, and our biggest win is what, an Iowa team? Then maybe a 3-loss Iowa team. I mean, I guess there's that conversation. But hold on, Rodolfo. But the thing is if USC is if USC is a two loss team with a win over Oregon at Oregon, and they even try to breathe that USC doesn't belong there, I mess with the Ducks, but that's about as solid a win as you're going to get. I mean, isn't that Indiana? What's Indiana's biggest win?
I mean,
is it the Ducks?
Indiana's biggest win right now is Illinois. You know, and now Illinois lost 4 games. Well. You know, and then so I mean, the thing with Indiana's biggest win is at Oregon, right? I mean, that's the claim to fame. So
that's what my point is. It's like it's
outside of at Oregon, it's a light resume, but that's not going to matter.
Yeah. All right, Rodolfo, we got to get out of here.
And the thing about it too is, all right, what does it make you this one point?
Yeah.
A&M, if you look at their wins, they only have one solid victory, and that's set by 1 point in overtime at Notre Dame. The rest of their wins, I mean, Houston clearly whooped their ass at home. How in the world can they say that's the number one team?
Well, Texas A&M, just think of it this way. Texas A&M is Oregon with Mike Elko coaching and not Dan Screaming Lanning. That's the difference. That's why I
would take any day of the week out against A&M.
Is it my end or is Rodolfo breaking up?
I can't hear Rodolfo either. It's choppy.
I think the desert cell connection is getting us, Rodolfo. We can't hear you.
Fight on.
I got the fight on. All right, fight on, Rodolfo. Appreciate you calling in. You guys, great calls tonight. Listen, thank you to Christian, Angel, Mitch, Rob, Dan, Cardinal and Bold, Brandon, and Rodolfo closing it out for us. Oh, and what was the Duck fan's name? Bo. And Bo from Ohio. Thank you, Bo, for calling in. Appreciate all of you guys. See, that is a Conquest call-in show. You guys were bringing it the entire time. Thank you guys all so much for being here. One last ask. We were here for an hour and 20 minutes. Just a big ask for you guys. On the way out, 87 of you guys left here. You've been here for an hour and 20 minutes or so. By the way, in the chat, is anyone been here the whole time? Drop in the chat if you've been here for the entire show. That would be pretty awesome to find out. But we've been here an hour and a half, and all we're asking for you guys, it's free. It takes 2 seconds. Hit that like button for us. Appreciate you guys being here. USC is going to, well, let's do our predictions. Jamal, go ahead. You want me to go first?
You go first.
So, unfortunately, after thinking about this a lot, and I've been going back and forth, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna roof. I'm going to SC 34-30. USC scores a late touchdown. Jacoby Lane. I'll even call it fade pattern in the corner. Ooh. On a 3rd or 4th down. Crowd going nuts and silenced. Think Notre Dame 2005 level, like freaking out fans, and all of a sudden pin drop. I mean, I think it's going to be that kind of game. I think that USC is going to have trouble. I think that Oregon, that 200 yards you said, I think Oregon's be right on that thing, either a shade above or shade below. And I think that's the difference. Got to keep 14's jersey dry. Oh, not dry. It's not going to be a wet game. Got to keep it clean. And I think USC squeaks it out the end.
Yeah. Now, Tim, this is a really hard one for me. I mean, it's the head versus the heart, right? And if you recall, start of the season, I had this team 9-3, 7-2 in the Big Ten, 3 losses to Illinois, Notre Dame, Oregon, and it was either going to be just in or just out. With the injuries to Bishop, Ramsey, Page on the road, haven't won there since 2011. There's all these reasons not to do it. My head is saying, it's hard to justify, but my heart is saying that SC is going to pull it out, 37-34. But it's going to be an absolute battle. This is going to be an absolute battle, and I want to be pleasantly surprised with my heart with SC coming out on top.
Consensus. Jamal makes it a consensus. Well, I mean, there you go. It's locked, you guys. Don't even bother watching the game. It's still 12:30 on Saturday. USC's already won the court of public opinion. It's gonna be a great game. I think this one might be the one you guys make sure you're watching it. If you get up to the Eugene, props to you. I wanted to go to this game really bad, just couldn't make it happen. But this is gonna be an epic game. All right. Make no mistake about it. We make lots of jokes about the Ducks around here. Solid program, except for Dan Lanning. But they're gonna give USC everything they can. And we'll be going. We don't know. I think we're going live after. Either way, either we're going live after the show, or we're gonna drop a quick post game analysis, right, Jamal, right after the game.
Yep.
Either way, you guys are gonna see us there. Let us know in the comment section your scores, and in the chat, let us know your score predictions. Saw a couple of them. You guys popped in there. Also, let us know, would you rather see in the comment section? You guys want to see a live show? I should have asked at the beginning because I don't know how many people are watching an hour and 20 minutes into a recorded video. But let us know if you guys want rather see a live show or if you'd rather us do a video. I gotta tell you, those videos are doing a lot better than the live shows. So it's kind of tempting. But appreciate talking to all you guys. These live shows, they're always my favorite. Jamal, any final words before we get out of here?
Just let's buckle up. This is going to be the biggest regular season game, certainly since 2022, and perhaps Tim, I was talking to a buddy the other day. This might be the biggest regular season game that SC has played since Darnold at Washington in 2016.
Yeah. Well, no, the Pac-12 playoff, Pac-12 championship game.
But I'm saying regular season.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm multitasking. Too many plates spinning right now. I'm trying to get everything queued up for the outro. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Regular season game. Yeah, for sure. And hey, I like the way that one ended up. Let's just put it that way. Right. Okay.
No
well,
doubt.
you guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much. Tune in, Jamal. Are you doing any videos or is it just Ryan during the week?
I think it's just Ryan during this week, and then you and I are going to jump on with Ryan, hopefully this weekend with a bunch of different content here post game.
You guys are setting records for us in your support. Our subscriber count is growing really quickly. So thank you guys all much for everything you guys do. Thank you guys to the callers again. You see them on the bottom there. We can't have the show without you guys. We can't really be pointless without this audience. So thank you guys again. Hit that like button, and we'll see everybody on Saturday. Right on.